In today's episode, let's see how the Hindus use incense. Namaste everyone and welcome to Om Incense Show with DJ, a show that helps you increase your incense quotient. So if you are an incense enthusiast, consider subscribing. So consider this podcast today, and you might just want to, take your favorite beverage and relax while I give you company. And I would want you to relax with something and listen to this because you're going to learn a lot. And if you're doing something else, you might probably miss some important part of the podcast and not understand the whole thing. So that's the reason I just want you to relax with this, and it's going to be a longish podcast. So you might just want to, get your favorite beverage or snacks or anything and just relax. So why I said Hindus and not exactly Indians, because there was a time when Hindus belonged to a certain region, but now Hindus Hindus are people who follow a certain religion, and also space is important to us because Hindus have always been associated with this part of the world. So even though we have people from other religion living with us these days, the rituals that I'm going to say is something that is almost 99.9% done only by the Hindus. I'm not aware of any other people from other religion doing this, but I know for sure that Hindus do this. So that's the reason I said that these are the ways Hindus use an incense. Now, I would also like you to know that traditionally Hindus have always only used dhoop. So dhoop was actually considered a mini part of Havan or Yagya, which used to be a big fire ritual, and people always had this but now people have this feeling. They feel that we're burning a lot of ghee and we're burning a lot of ingredients, and it's actually getting wasted. They give logics like this could be given to poor people or to kids and to stuff like that. But the fact is, when you eat something, it's just one body that is nourished. But when you do a havan or a yagya, the ingredients that goes into the fire and is released into the atmosphere, it nourishes not just the humans but the animals, the trees, insects, birds, everything that we can see or cannot see. So that was the whole concept behind yagya or havan. And because it used to be carried out with a lot of mantra, those mantras actually brought well-being to anybody who heard that, anybody who was receiving that vibration. So that was the whole concept. Now, because as times passed by and people got, world changed, so it wasn't possible to do havan every day or on larger in a larger way. So people found this dhoop, which was easier and which took less time, but which had the same kind of, if not exactly same, but almost the same kind of benefit. So till almost around 1940s we only had dhoop. So we did not have this concept of incense stick as such, the ones that we see with bamboo core in them. We do not have those. It's only in the mid 1940s sometime that one of the Maharajas of Mysore started that incense stick, the production of incense stick. So people found it easier to just light up an incense and carry on with the work that they're doing, so the puja or anything. But traditionally, even now, whenever we have a special puja, like say Durga Puja, you must have seen pictures of pandals in Bengal where they only have those dhoops. If people in South India, especially us, we use dhoop. Then so those are the things like dhoop, especially even now, has special importance. So we use dhoop for Satnarayan Puja. Any special puja, you have to have dhoop, because just incense stick is not enough. And in fact, as per the Hindu scriptures, we are not supposed to burn the bamboo. So burning incense stick is not considered good because it has its own mundane reasons. Because there is a research that has found out that when you burn incense, the bamboo that is burnt along with it releases lead into the atmosphere, and that is carcinogenic. The the spiritual reason or the tantric reason why we are not allowed to burn bamboo is because bamboo is supposed to be something that nourishes your progeny. Bamboo has its own special part in many of the pujas, especially bamboo is used, bamboo is worshipped, so bamboo is not supposed to be burnt. So that's the reason we never had this. We did have incense sticks, but we did not have bamboo core, so we had dhoop sticks. And we had wet dhoop, but those wet dhoop used to be really high quality dhoop with lots of ghee and various kinds of oils in them. So that is how traditionally it used to be used. So some of the main incense ingredients or the main incense fragrances that we used were camphor, guggal, chandan, agar, pine, the resin and wood, both of it, elaichi, that is cardamom, and jasmine. These are just a few of it, and there were many other incense ingredients that are actually herbs, so they are used for medicines also, and they were used as havan samagri, in the havan samagri, so they could be released into the atmosphere and help everybody else besides the humans. So that was there. And because in the Hindu way of life, there is no dichotomy between the mundane and the spiritual. The life that we live every day, the activities that we do, and even the basic, the karma siddhant that we have, the law of karma that we follow, is all religious, and it has to be followed in your mundane life as well. So there is no dichotomy. So you'll see many of the spices that we use in our daily cooking is also used in the dhoop. In the same way, many herbs that are used as medicines are also used as dhoop. And so these were all the kinds of, this is the basic principle that drives us in the usage of dhoop as such. The newest thing on the, in the incense scene is Goudhup, which is my personal favorite because, to get a cow dung cake is very difficult to get it in the cities. But burning of the cow dung cake along with ghee is supposed to be one of the best things that you can do to yourself and to your house and to the environment overall. So Goudhup is my personal favorite. It is one of the, in fact, I think it is the only purest form of incense that we have now. So it has cow dung and ghee, and some of them even use various forms of various products from the cow. It's called panchagavya. So it has the cow dung, the ghee, milk, curd, and the cow's urine. So that is panchagavya, and most of these dhoop also has panchagavya in it. Then we have certain kind of herbs that were used for havan. So we have nagarmotha, jatamansi, and many of those kind of stuff which are there. So Goudhup is my personal favorite, and it brings about the kind of result, it delivers what it promises. So that's the kind of dhoop it is, and it is one of the newest and the best form of dhoop that we can have these days, and I use it all the time. So that is there. Now dhoop, before I tell you the ways in which we use dhoop, I'd like you to know that dhoop, as it's called, gandh, is one of the most important steps in the 16 steps that a Hindu follow to worship. For puja, we have this Shodashopchar puja, which is 16 steps that we do for a puja, and that is an elaborate thing. So now these days, because many people do not know of it, or many people do not have the time for it, we usually do Panchopchar puja, which is at least incense, lamp, food, water, and flower. And even if you do not have any of those things, the two things that are really important are dhoop and deep, so lamp and incense. And in fact, in case you do not have even those, the least you can do is light up an incense or light up a lamp. So incense boils down to one of the most important things that any Hindu does for a puja. So and so, like I told you, so what happens is we are not able to use dhoop as such. So incense stick is something that really comes handy, and most people these days use that. The basic principle, the basic belief that drives us to use incense is that it serves the earth and its beings. It helps keep Asur and Pishach away. So, Asur and Pishach are actually, it's like microbes and negative thoughts and negative energy. So, when we light up an incense, those things are kept at bay. Then we have, it brings about an overall energy, shift in the house. So it makes it more positive and it makes it more calm and relaxed. And, there's a kind of, good feeling that prevails in the entire house, and that helps people have a good interpersonal relationship. So that is one of the most important reasons why we use incense, or why dhoop was used, in fact. So that is one of the main reasons as well. And so now let's discuss the ways in which Hindus use incense. So the first and foremost thing is, of course, prayers. We use incense sticks for our prayers, or incense as in dhoop for our prayers. So whether it's normal everyday prayer, or it's like special traditional prayers where we use only and only dhoop. And most of this dhoop is like, you light up some coal or coconut shell or coconut coir or cow dung cake, and then once the fire has gone away, when the material is just hot, you put resins on it. So we have resins and wood. So most of the time in our region we use pine resin and pine wood. So sarar and dhuman, that's what we use. In the south also people use sambrani. So sambrani is pounded into powder and then used. So that is one of the things. And so prayers, for most of the prayers, whether it's Shodoshopchar Puja or Panchopchar Puja, or if it's just a normal prayer, an incense stick is a must. We use incense for the prayers. So that is number one. Number two is we use incense for the babies. So when we use for the babies, it is exclusively the incense resin that's burnt on the, on the cow dung cake or coconut shell or coconut coir, and that's called dhupan. So that's dhupan for the babies is exclusively, it's never ever done with the incense stick, it's only done with the dhoop. And it's done only for around 20-30 seconds after the bath of the baby. It helps keep infection and cold away from the baby. So that is the one reason. That is how we use dhoop. Now number 3 is post-pregnancy. So post-pregnancy, the woman who has just given birth to a new child, for the next 40 or 45 days, there is this Ayurvedic ritual. Actually, it's an activity which has to be done for 40 days for the benefit of the woman who has just given birth to a child. So incense or dhupan is actually one of the most important parts that has to be done by a new mom once she's given birth to a baby. So that dhupan is done for her post bath. That will help again, it will help her from the infection. It will help her, it will help her from the cold. So that's there. So that's post pregnancy. Now number 4 is Yoni Dhupan. So Yoni Dhupan is dhoop for the vagina, and because dhoop is it's in the smoke form, so it can penetrate really high, and it helps in the overall betterment of the reproductive system of a woman. So that's the reason Yoni Dhupan is given. Even though not very widely practiced, it is one of the things that most of the Panchkarma centers and Ayurvedic centers follow. And many people have now these days started following at home also. And there are brands which are good brands which sell Yoni Dhupan, a dhoop for the Yoni Dhupan. So that also is a way that Hindus use dhoop. Now another way that Hindus use dhoop is for rituals like marriage and death also. So one of my friend from South told me once that, in their region, when a person is dead and, the corpse is lying in the courtyard and everybody is sitting around, and people who come to visit that corpse, that family, while they're leaving from that place, they're supposed to put a handful of resin in the dhoop that's already being burnt there. So you're supposed to put a handful of dhoop in it before you leave that place. So that helps not just the preventing the infection of that place, but it also helps the person who has just left that house. It cleanses the aura and the energy of that person. And that's one way how the dhoop is used for ritual. Now for marriage, specifically in my, that's what I've seen in my tradition. So I am a Maithil Brahmin and we belong to this state called Bihar. So what happens is during one of the marriage ceremonies, one of the girls lead the couple to the puja place from from wherever they have been resting, with an incense in hand. So that is one way also how incense is used in the ritual. So specifically incense has to be used. It cannot be deep, it cannot be anything else. It has to be an incense. So likewise, I'm sure in the entire region many of the rituals are done only with the help of the incense. So that is also one of the ways how Hindus use incense. Hindus also use incense for hair. So most women, once they've had a head bath, they fumigate their hair with the incense resins, and there are stuff like chandan and agru and ilaichi and all of those things. So besides besides helping prevent infection and cold in the person, what it also does is it makes the hair very aromatic. It makes the scalp nice and clean and free of infection. And the one most important thing that it does is it helps keep the husband enchanted. And this can be, it can be seen as a normal mundane ritual also, and it has its own tantric or, spiritual importance. So that is how we use incense for hair. Though now only people in South do, because most of these traditions have been wiped out now. But yes, there are people who still follow it, and there are people who have started now doing it in the North as well. So incense is used for hair. So for these specifically dhoop is used. Now there is one way in which incense is used for the ancestors. So on the full moon night and on the no moon night, an incense is supposed to be burnt outside of the house. So whether it's on the terrace, in the balcony, or anywhere outside of your house, and it is specifically for the ancestors. We call them Pitra. So it is specifically for them, and this is done or should be done in the entire Shraddh Paksh. If not, at least on the full moon and the new moon night, this has to be done. It really helps, it helps the ancestors, the Pittars. So that is one way we use dhoop. Then the other way we use dhoop is lighting dhoop at the main entrance of the house. So even though now the design of the doors is different, earlier on we used to believe that chaukhut, so there used to be a wood on the main entrance of the house. It used to be called a chaukhut. So the chaukhut is supposed to be, the outside of the chaukhut is supposed to be the place for the Kul Devi and the Kul Bhairav. So the goddess and the god who is supposed to take care of a certain clan of people, so Kul Devi and Kul Bhairav. So the incense and lamp that used to be burnt twice a day, both during the morning prayers and in the evening prayers, specifically for the Kul Devi and the Kul Bhairav, it helps it helps us gain their grace. So that is one way we use incense. If you've seen in my videos, I've discussed many times that I use a dhoop at the main entrance of my house. So this is one of the reasons why I do it and why most people do it. So Hindus use incense at the entrance for the Kul Devi and the Kul Bhairav. Hindus also use incense, the incense resin and the dhoop. And even if people do not have the incense resin, even if they're just praying with an incense stick, most people will take that incense stick around the house for fumigation. But if you use dhoop, actually it is one of the best things that you can do for your house. So people take dhoop around the house, and while chanting any of the mantra that you know or any of the mantra that we follow, people do that, and that is used for the fumigation of the house. It can be done daily, like it is a daily thing which can be done twice a day for the morning and during the evening and the morning prayers. And there are times when people do it for a certain period of time, specifically with certain wish or something special in mind. So that also is done. The other way incense or dhoop that has been used in India has been for astrological reasons or for tantric reasons. So there are specific dhoop which are meant for specific purposes, and so those ways also incense is used. And like I said, so we are a tradition. If in the Shastra tradition, tantra is not something which is like something which you go out of your way to practice. It is a way of life for us. So there are so many things, so many puja rituals that we do are actually tantric practices, and it's not something that anybody rolls their eyes upon. It is something that is a very normal thing for us. So that also is done. Now, not now, but long time back, the Hindu rajas, the Hindu kings used to practice, or people who were affluent used to have dhoops specifically made for the love making sessions. So whether it was the first night or it used to be any other night, so a certain particular dhoop used to be burnt while the king was with his queen, or when husband and wife were together in affluent families. So that is also one of the ways how we used to use dhoop. The use of dhoop or incense stick only to mask a fragrance, or to mask bad smell, is something which is recent and learned and not very widely practiced. So it's only sometimes that some people light up an incense to ward off a bad smell, but this is not something which is commonly done by everyone. The other thing is, the newest thing in the incense world is incense sticks, which are used exclusively for repelling mosquitoes. So people use them at night before sleeping instead of using All Out or Good Night or any of those mosquito repellent stuff. Many people use incense stick also. So I think I've told you 13 ways in which Hindus use incense. And of course, as you know, that some of these are Hindus have also been using incense for medicinal purposes, both in the form of dhupan and dhumpan. So dhupan is the process of fumigating a person or space, and dhumpan is specifically for inhalation. So people with various diseases have various resins and combination blends of herbs and resins combined to form into a smoke which people are given to smoke, as in the way the people smoke cigarettes. So they're given that medicinal resin, medicinal incense blend to smoke. So that is called dhumpan. But otherwise, there is karna dhupan. So the application of incense smoke to ears for problems in the ears, or for some mental issues, is given. It's also given in the nose. It's also given in the anus for various reasons. And of course, we have fumigation of operation theaters and stuff like that. Fumigation of space where a patient is resting. So those also are various use of incense smoke that has been a big part of Ayurveda, which of course is a Hindu thing. So medicinally also Hindus have been using incense for quite some time now. 13 ways in which Hindus use incense. And of course, as you know, that some of these are things which everybody does, like prayers and fumigation and for while death and the marriage rituals. These are something that everybody does, and there are some of these which very few people do, like for babies or for hair and post pregnancy and Yoni Dhupan. So these are something that very few people do, but overall this is the whole picture. And so we Hindus use incense in these many ways. So that's all I had to discuss with you today. Do let me know if you have any questions or query about this. I'll be happy to help you with that. And I tried looking for it online, but I could not find this anywhere. So this is something, this compilation is nowhere. So I try to compile everything that I knew for you here. So there are very well known facts, and there are very facts that are not very well known. So I try to put this here for you. So I hope you learned something from this and you enjoyed the episode. Now before I leave, I'd just like you to know three special rituals related, three special rituals that you can do with an incense. The first one is a wish manifestation ritual, which is to be done for 43 days. So beforehand, before you start the ritual, you must have all the 43, you're supposed to use wet dhoop, but even if you do not want to use wet dhoop, like I do not use wet dhoop at all because it has rubber in them, I use incense cones. So you have to have the whole pack of 43 incense cones with you. It has to be done the same time every day. It has to be done in the same spot every day, whether you're going to a temple or you're doing at home altar. It has to be done every day at the same time, same place. And if you're dedicating it to a deity like, for Durga ji or Shiv ji or anybody, it has to be the same deity every day as well. So it has to be like that. Every day when you sit for the prayer, when you sit for the ritual, you roll that cone between both of your palms and you say your wish, whatever you wish to achieve through that ritual. You say that wish and you roll the cone between your palms for as long as you feel comfortable, and then you light that up, in front of the deity or the, in the altar, wherever you're doing. So that is one thing which is done for 40 days. For 43 days, you have to have everything ready before you start the ritual. Same day, same time, same deity. It has to be every day the same thing. So that is one wish manifestation ritual. Now the second is one ritual that you would want to do for the newlyweds for them to have a happy life. So once the newlyweds are home and they are about to go for their first night, or the process for that, you are supposed to wash the entire couple with dhoop. So you have to have, say, chandan and certain kind of resins and rose essential oil and all of those things in the dhoop, and you rotate it clockwise from around the couple from head to toe 7 times, and you wash them with it both front and back. So 7 times in the front and 7 times in the back clockwise, and then they're about to when they're about to start their married life, it's supposed to be good for them. And so this is one of the ritual that I wanted to share with you. The third one is, if you want to clean your house, clean the energy and the aura of your house, you do this process for 21 days, thrice a day. So morning, noon and night or evening, you have to have the dhoop or the resin ready for you for 21 days. You have to have say coal or coconut coir or shell, coconut shell, or cow dung cake if you have at home. So you get them ready for 21 days. So the whole entire process, so every time you do the process, you have to have the material ready for you. So you just can make a nice box or a nice get them ready in one place for you to be able to do that process easily every day. So for 21 days, thrice a day, with any kind of certain mantra or chant that you do. So like I usually do it with Hanuman Chalisa, because that brings both joy and good energy to the house. Also it protects you from various factors, whether it's things that can be seen or cannot be seen, it's situations, time, anything. So I do it with Hanuman Chalisa. You could do it with any prayer that you like, but it has to be done for 21 days, 3 times a day. And so this is one ritual for the well-being or cleansing of the house, the fumigation ritual. So these are the 3 rituals that I wanted to share with you. You might just want to do any of these. In case you have any doubt regarding them, please let me know in the comment section below. And that's all for the episode today. I hope you enjoyed the episode and you learned something from it. Check out the description box for the link of very many incense related products, which are beautiful ones. I've picked them up especially for you guys. You might want to keep them for yourselves, or you might want to give them as gifts to people you love, or anybody if you have to give the gift. And the description also has the link for my Sanskrit alphabet book for kids, which is aimed specifically for the 2 to 6 year olds. It teaches them Sanskrit alphabet, so it's Sanskrit alphabet book for kids. And so that's it. check out the description box and let me know your thoughts in the comments.